Howdy folks. Well, it's probably the warmest day so far. We've been outside all day putting in the garden, doing some tilling, trimming some trails, had moved the chickens. Anyway, since it was such a warm day, when I grabbed the book today, Roughneck Grace, it fell open to a piece called Subzero. So I don't miss the Subzero, but I'll read this one in honor of the first real warm day. I have just finished preparing for our first Sub-Zero night of the year. Nothing too complicated. Hung twin heat lamps in the chicken coop, where yesterday my wife added a layer of old hay from bales she toted home from the neighbor's place. I was on deadline, so she took the truck and fetched the hay while I was writing. My wife bucked bales on a crew in high school, and when she drove through the yard in that old four-wheel drive truck of ours, I marveled once again at the ways in which she has expanded my concept of the yoga instructor. I hung those heat lamps high, well clear of the hay. First I had to run 3 extension cords end to end from an outlet in the granary across the snow to a pigtail wired directly to a wall outlet integrated into the mobile coop. The pigtail is one of my rare good ideas. Fortunately, my cousin, who understands that magic some call electricity, was available to install it, and thus the coop has not burned down. Next, I installed a fresh battery in the tractor. The old one was deader than a nail, as my people like to say. Actually, I just kind of wedged the new one in there as the mountain bolts have rusted solid and my fingers got too cold to finish the job. The tractor started, and after inflating a flattening front tire, I was able to use the loader to lift and transfer assorted heavy objects, a barrel of sand, some concrete blocks, a length of railroad track, to the back of the plow truck for traction purposes. Next, I cleared all the family bicycles out of the garage bay. It seems we won't need them soon. Then backed the tractor in, remembering to drop the rollover protection system first, meaning I didn't rip down the overhead door, which, when you function at my level of fuzz-mindedness, is no small victory. The tractor is my backup to the snowplow. Although I may not need it all winter, I park it here because while the garage is not heated, it is built into the side of a hill and rarely drops below freezing. Thus, the diesel will turn over more easily, preserving that new battery. It is also better, in sub-zero or blizzardy weather, to have it accessible right here in the yard rather than in a snowbound, electricity-free pole barn down the hill. Finally, I delivered a pile of fresh rags to the insulated doghouse where the cats stay and left the light on for the heat it would generate. After securing them with fresh food and water, I went into the house to find that my teenage daughter had stocked us with a big pile of firewood. That night, after the rest of the family was in bed, I loaded up the wood stove, then sat to let the flames catch before I set to draft. The old house thudded and shuddered as the mercury dropped and the nails contracted. Cold is fine. Cold below zero requires special measures. It was nice to think of the tractor stowed and ready, the plow set, the cats warm. From my seat before the fire, I could see the square yellow glow of the chicken coop windows. Come morning, it was 12 below, and I had to stomp ice out of the chicken water tub, but there were fresh eggs in the nests. On the stiff walk back to the house, I held one cupped warmly in each hand. So one of the things about today, like I said, it's kind of that first real warm day, truly warm. And we were working outside, and I moved the chickens and driving the tractor around and doing some tilling. And you read that piece about Sub-Zero, and one of the biggest hassles about cold isn't the cold, it's just all the time it consumes, the simplest thing. You know, there's a whole piece about just preparing for the cold, let alone getting ready to go out in it. So today was one of those days. We're still early enough in spring where you feel like you're kind of getting away with something, just throwing on a t-shirt, running outside and working in the dirt. So I hope you're hanging in there. I hope you're doing well, and forward.